Hello, and thank you for tuning in to Tea Time, brought to you by New Jersey Tea Party Coalition. My name is Ray Rinaldi, and I'll be your host for tonight. Well, the 2010 elections have come and gone, and we are waiting for the new Congress to take charge, and hopefully we'll keep our eye on them and keep informed and make sure that they hear from we the people and do our will. The current Congress actually is turning a deaf ear to us, but we'll have our say come the new year. As far as the new year goes, the Tea Parties have had a great impact on this past election. Now the question is, we have a lot to do, and there are a lot of issues about the Tea Parties. And tonight we have as our guest one of our co-founders and also our webmaster, Brian Baldwin. Brian, welcome.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you for having me back.
Well, I'm glad that you could be here, and hopefully you can give us some insight as to what's going on in certain issues that are coming up and facing the Tea Parties. And for instance, I know during this past election in Ocean County, I believe, or down south somewhere, I'm not sure quite where, they had some politicians that were trying to use the Tea Party.
Well, that's something that's happened with the Tea Party recently. When the Tea Party started, the Tea Party was radioactive for politicians to get involved with. No politician wanted to be associated with the Tea Party. Even there are some politicians today that back the Tea Party, support the Tea Party, want to be seen with the Tea Party, that kind of looked at the Tea Party as a distraction when the Tea Party began. But as the Tea Party grew, became a force to be reckoned with, more politicians gravitated towards it because they saw ways that they could connect themselves to it, the way they could use it for their own benefit, unfortunately. The incident you were talking about took place in the 3rd District of New Jersey. There was a candidate, his name was DeStefano, and he actually used our name, the New Jersey Tea Party Coalition, in his campaign ads.
We didn't know about it.
Without permission.
Right.
As it turned out, Mr. DeStefano was not recognized by any Tea Party in the state, any Tea Party anywhere. It did come out that one of the committee persons for the Camden County Democratic Party oversaw the collection of signatures to get him on the ballot. And it was pretty much determined that he was a plan to put in by the Adler campaign to draw votes away from John Runyon. The Thursday before the election, I woke up to a lot of angry emails and a couple of phone calls from the Runyon campaign, from Tea Parties in South Jersey saying, are you supporting this guy? Because he's not a Tea Party candidate. And sure enough, I followed the links they gave me, and I found that he had been advertising under our name, not so much to draw people to our website, even though he used our website as a link, but more so just to create in people's mind an image that he was associated with the Tea Party movement, which he had no affiliation at all. It's not a phenomenon just in New Jersey.
No, it's other than in the rest of the country also. Right.
There were Tea Party candidates and a group that called itself the Tea Party that registered as a party, a political party in Florida.
Oh, really?
We had the same phenomenon happen in Ohio, Minnesota. It was one more notable one that happened out in Nevada. It was a candidate that ran against Sharon Engel and Harry Reid as a, quote, Tea Party candidate under the Tea Party banner. He, again, was also not affiliated with any Tea Party. So we see a lot of this happening where people are coming in claiming to be a Tea Party. Most Tea Parties have worked within the two-party system, within the framework, not so much to create a third party, but to go in and to reform the two parties. As it turns out, it's very hard to reform the Democratic Party as it stands right now to make it more conservative. It's very far left. Right now, most candidates that have run in the Tea Party have been in the Republican Party. There have been some independents, but primarily they've worked within the party system.
So that's really a clue when they say they're a Tea Party candidate running under the Tea Party ticket. There is no Tea Party ticket.
At this time, there's not. I imagine that sometime in the future there could be a third party, a Tea Party. But right now we're working within the framework of the party system, trying to reform the parties as they stand. One of my fears would be to create a third party, and eventually it will be filled with knowledgeable people about politics, more so than a lot of the Tea Party candidates, and it will also become like a third party that mirrors the other two parties that are out there. I think it's more important to put candidates in that are conservative and try to impress upon both parties that we're seeking more conservative candidates. The third party, I know that there are some people that want to go third party now. I've heard that there are some groups that want to go third party for the 2012 election.
I think that would just, I don't think it would work in our favor, in the conservatives' favor. Not at this point at all.
My opinion right now is that it would throw the candidate, the incumbent candidate, the election. In this case, President Obama. It's been the circumstance before. The Reform Party with Ross Perot. Other times it's been tried, it just hasn't worked. In many of the elections around the country, the Tea Party has been almost a juggernaut. They have really done some great things in some elections. We have not had the opportunity to use the Tea Party in a national presidential election yet. As you're aware, the Tea Party really came into birth in the Obama administration, but it was sparked in the President Bush administration with TARP and with much of the spending that came out of there. So it's not so much an anti-Obama movement, an anti-Democrat movement. Right now, there are many problems with the Republican Party, too, and need for a lot of reform within the Republican Party.
Basically, I think most of the Tea Parties are Tea Party. I can speak for our own Tea Party. We want to get back to the Constitution. I mean, and I think that, you know, it's important that we look to our founding fathers and see where they, you know, and the Constitution. I mean, they're not following it. They're really usurping the Constitution. And, you know, it's important for the Tea Parties to keep people informed and so that they know who they're going to be voting for and what they stand for. And that's why it's important to know. If somebody says, you know, I'm with the Tea Party, they have to research that and make sure that they actually, like this DeStefano, he, you know, that wasn't true. And, you know, thank goodness for you and for others who, you know, are out there and you can tell the truth and let people know.
Well, thank you, but many people alerted me to what the problem was. It wasn't me that uncovered that he was not a Tea Party candidate. Other people presented that evidence. It was in the newspapers. I came to that information through other people. And more so, when he started using our name is when we got involved. We also had that issue up here in North Jersey. We were not so much involved in the 3rd District. We were more involved up here with Congressman Rothman and his challenger, Michael Augusta. This came to us because it was thrown in our lap, really. It was not an issue we were dealing with. Certainly we came out and we opposed anyone that claimed to be a Tea Party candidate that was not, but we were almost forced into this to defend the name of the Tea Party. So there are many people to thank, least of all me, because a lot of people fought to keep the Tea Party name pure, to keep it protected.
But we all work in conjunction with each other, and you know, thank God that, you know, you're able to get the word out there. You know, as our webmaster, you know, you're able to put that word out to everybody, which is important, because otherwise you're not going to get it in the regular media. We know that.
You certainly won't.
You know.
There are some media. The internet has become a great tool. Fox News, a lot of the blogging, a lot of these, there's more information now, more prevalent than it has been in the past, and not just Tea Party websites, but even the Heritage Foundation. There are a lot of organizations out there that want to defend the Constitution and put out information to move us to a more constitutional government.
Well, and that's why our website also has certain links. And so if you trust a certain Tea Party to be neutral and to hold the candidates' feet to the fire, they can go to our website and they can put, I think we're even going to have a link maybe to the Heritage Foundation.
Yes.
And this way you'll know which organizations that can be trusted with the correct information. So, you know, I think that's important. And, you know, I encourage everybody to, you know, go on to our website, which is njteapartycoalition.org. So, well, when we come back, I would like to talk to you more about the issues facing the Tea Parties and in general with the two-party system, the Republicans and the Democrats. So on that note, we'll be right back.
With all the excitement happening with the Tea Party, it may be a little hard to separate fact from fiction. Find out the truth for yourself. Visit the New Jersey Tea Party Coalition's website at www.njteapartycoalition.org. You may find a common voice to your concerns on how our government is functioning and discover a means to help restore our nation based on the proven principles of our Constitution.
Hi, and welcome back to Tea Time with our guest Brian Baldwin, who is also a co-founder of New Jersey Tea Party Coalition. Brian, when we last on the break, we were talking about the Tea Parties, and how do you see it where the danger for the Tea Parties can, you know, in the future? What do you see as some obstacles?
I think one obstacle right now is keeping our identity. The Tea Party is less in the news now, now that the 2010 elections have passed. We're trying to regain our focus. There are certain people that were focused on the 2010 election, and now they're going to start to fall off, I'm sure, a little bit, now that this big election is finished. Now it's time for the Tea Parties to refocus. And where are we going to refocus?
Right.
And we'll talk about that in a moment. You asked me what would endanger the Tea Party.
Yes,
I think right now the Tea Party supported many people within the Republican Party or put up people in Republican primaries.
Right.
Just because there were, especially in New Jersey, so many Democrats ingrained in the system that it was hard to put anyone up. But we did have Tea Party people up in the Republican primaries against virtually every Republican candidate in New Jersey. I think except for maybe Congressman Garrett, but Leonard Lance, Congressman Freeling-Heisen, they all had Tea Party challengers.
Right.
Having had so many people working within the Republican Party, within that system, we kind of developed a common goal temporarily, and that goal was to see these candidates elected. But we don't share a common goal long-term. Our long-term goal is a constitutional government.
Right.
The Republican Party's long-term goal is Republican candidates.
Right, right.
We hope to influence the party, but having worked so close together, there are many Republican operatives in the Tea Party at the moment, and it's important that we don't lose our identity to the Republican Party or to any party.
Right.
It's important that we keep our focus, weed out those people who want to maneuver the Tea Party in the wrong direction.
So like almost co-opt for their own benefit.
Yes.
So they really become a Republican, an arm of the Republican or Democratic Party, which we don't want to do. We want to stay neutral. New Jersey Tea Party Coalition and most other Tea Parties want to stay neutral.
Right. We try to stay as neutral as possible. We don't endorse candidates.
Right.
If candidates come to us and they're conservative and espouse conservative views, and we're well aware that sometimes they tell us what we want to hear.
Exactly.
But we'll give them the platform, but we don't endorse them. We don't say, this is who you should vote for.
Right, right.
We want them to present themselves, and I never personally want to be in the position of telling someone, this is the man you have to vote for, or woman.
Right.
I think we want to present the information the best we can. Let the people see the candidates, let the candidates speak for themselves, and let the people decide.
Right. Well, I think our core principles, if they align themselves with the New Jersey Tea Party Coalition, we have our 13 core principles. And if they align themselves with that, you know, that's beneficial to let people know that. And we could support that they support our principles, but we will endorse them. We'll let the people make up their own minds and their own decisions, but, you know, inform them of where the candidate stands.
Right.
But I know there are other Tea Parties that are becoming arms of, you know, the certain political parties.
There are some Tea Parties where the political parties have more of an influence. We're doing our best to stay away from that, to keep that out of what we're doing. There's been varying degrees of success in other groups. By and large, I think most of them have been pretty successful in staying independent of either party. So I don't think it's a major problem. I think it's something we have to be aware of.
Yes.
Something we have to be cautious about. We have to remain vigilant.
Well, you know, funny, I had a woman say to me the other day, I was at a Christmas party, and she said, well, how can you tell the difference? How can you tell a Tea Party that has been co-opted by a particular party? And I thought that was a good question. And, you know, maybe you can answer that a little bit for our audience, and, you know, as to what do they look for? How can they tell one Tea Party from another? Like our Tea Party, you know, we don't endorse. You know, but how can you tell from other Tea Parties?
I think at some point it's hard to tell at first blush. I think you have to just keep your eyes open, keep your ears open. What do the Tea Parties, the individual groups say? What do they promote? Are all of their events centered around Republican-centric ideas versus conservative? If you have maybe a Tea Party that feels you should not go against an incumbent, or you should not go against the party candidate. Right. I think that's a telltale sign.
Yes, yes.
We certainly want to challenge any incumbent, any party candidate, if they're not espousing constitutional views, fiscal responsibility. I think it's incumbent on what we do to stand by our principles and to hold their feet to the fire and challenge them when necessary. Right. As I said, we had candidates in each of the Republican primaries, or 3 of the 4. So that's one thing. And sometimes I think it's going to be very difficult. I think sometimes people are going to just have to watch carefully. And I would tell them to watch what we do too. I don't tell them to take us on face value.
Right, right.
Come to our meetings.
Right. Visit the website.
Sure. Visit the website, see what we do, what we say, and see if we stick to what we're saying too. I would hope that we're also challenged, because I don't want to see us fall under the influence of a party either. Right, right. So sometimes I think maybe somebody visiting one of the Tea Parties on a regular basis will start to see something that maybe we don't see. Right, right. And they'll hold our feet to the fire as we are holding candidates to the fire.
Right. Well, you know, this is a new movement, and it is a movement, and it's grassroots. So, you know, I know this year coming up in 2011, it's an off year for election, but we're going to have a lot of state legislators that are going to be up for election and or re-election, the Assembly, I believe, and some senators. And, you know, I think New Jersey Tea Party Coalition is going to try to focus on the state issues, a lot of the state issues and the state people that are running for office, and where they're, you know, where they're coming from. And it just, you know, I just encourage people to to keep informed and know what's going on, because otherwise we'll lose our republic, and we don't want to do that. And so our job is not over. In fact, it's really just begun.
It's just begun. It's not over by a long shot.
Right.
I know in many states there are no off-year elections. A lot of Tea Parties in other states are focused on 2012.
Right.
We have 2011 to focus on. We have a lot of shorter-term goals than other Tea Parties. We can't afford to focus on 2012 entirely right now. Certainly, we may have to a little bit.
Sure.
But we can't lose focus of the big things also.
Right.
But protecting our state, getting conservatives within our state
Very
in those
important.
legislature seats, on county committees, on state committee, everywhere in the system that we can move conservatives, that is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
There's a point. There is so much going on in the lame duck Congress that we can keep calling our senators, our particular
Good
senators
luck.
in New Jersey
Yeah.
really don't espouse the same views as us, so
Right.
it falls on deaf ears.
Right.
And we're left with trying to call congressmen and senators out of state.
Right.
And how many times are senators and congressmen from Nebraska or Minnesota or Kansas, how many times are they going to entertain our calls and take us seriously?
Right.
They're more concerned with their constituents. And right now, I think in New Jersey, we have to focus on changing who our representatives are.
Absolutely,
So-
absolutely. And you know, also, I want to add too a suggestion to our audience, and that would be to come up with solutions to the different problems that we have, and to offer those solutions to the people that are going to be running for office, and see what their response is. You know, for instance, I just wrote to Congressman Garrett regarding immigration. I won't go into it now, but I have a list of solutions, and it's not amnesty, and it's humane, and I really think, I mean, it's a common sense approach, and albeit a little simple, but I really feel that it's something. Maybe in another segment we can talk about those issues. But, you know, to come up with solutions, give them to the politicians so that, you know, give them little ideas. And I got a very nice note back from him, and there is a bill that he is co-sponsoring. I don't recall right now, but it's in the Senate regarding immigration. And, you know, we just need to help them along, too, and let them know where we stand. And I think it's important for people to come up with different solutions. So, like, the immigration is one solution. You know, the global warming issue and the cap and trade in New Jersey. So, you know, again, this is where Tea Party has to stay on top of all these issues.
Right, and there are Tea Parties across the state getting involved in different issues. Several Tea Parties, the one closest to us, the Essex County Tea Party Coalition, they are getting involved in redistricting, which happens every year that there's a census, every 10 years.
Every 10 years.
So they are helping get involved in the redistricting issue. It's important for us to try to get involved. I think we do have to cultivate relationships with politicians, in a sense, trying to work out solutions with them, but not to have them own us in the sense that they force the solutions on us.
Right.
I think we have to remind them that they work for us, remind them that we might have an idea that's good too. Most of the time they're very unapproachable. So I think a long-term goal, even a short-term goal, is to cultivate those relationships without losing our identity to those politicians or those parties, and helping to help them to help us.
Right, and inform the people.
Right,
You know,
inform
and
the
educate them, and
Sure.
you know, we all need to. You know, I'm learning an awful lot for you know, since when the first April 15th, that was in 2009. That was our first, you know, call to action, and we're doing it again, actually, April 15th this year in Hackensack on the Green. And, you know, we'll have more information about that on the website. Right. Well, Brian, I want to thank you very much. You've been, very informative, and I hope that I just hope that we can, people visit our website, NewJerseyTeaPartyCoalition.org, and find out. There's so much information and so many links. It's really important that you become informed and know what's going on, and hold your elected officials who they're supposed to represent you. And we just really have to make an effort, even if it's just one phone call, one letter, or one solution to a problem that you think you might have. So we really all need to get involved.
Right, certainly.
Right.
People that are on our mailing list, will send them different issues and different congressmen they can call. Right, and you have
you can see who represents you, in your district. You can go on the web and find that out. Well, Brian, thank you so much for coming. I hope you come back again, and I hope you come back again. And thank you. And until next time, good night.